Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Bros Who Know. I'm Dr. Jeff LaCure. This is my podcast partner, the Darth Vader of podcasts, Richard Yancey. On behalf of both of us, we hope you had an outstanding Father's Day. We hope you celebrated some of the important men in your life who have earned the title of dad. And we did a wonderful podcast last week. We hope you'll check in. And you know, as we celebrate Father's Day, Rich, and so on, there's no question we have to talk about how somebody ends up being a father. And so today, folks, you know what we're going to do? We're going to talk about what men look for in women. Oh, are we going to talk about it? Oh, we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about everything we look for. And you know what else we're going to talk about, Rich? You know we're going to. We're going to talk about what we don't.
Ooh, okay.
We're going to talk about 11:59 p.m. and we're going to talk about 12:30 a.m. Because what we're looking for at 11:59 p.m. could be different than what we're looking for at 12:30 a.m.
Okay.
Rich, let's talk about it, man. What are guys looking for in women in 2023?
Well, we want to be attracted to them, right?
Yeah.
So we looking, I guess, their walk. You know, how they walk, how they present themselves, how much confidence they have. You know, I think that's initially what we look at, right?
Yeah.
What do you think, Jeff?
Well, you know, you and I have talked a little bit about it in the past. You know, men, we fall in love with our eyes. We really are visual, and we all have a unique look. And I'm going to share with our viewers, Rich, one of our private gym conversations, where I shared with you, and I think you almost threw a dumbbell at me, man. That hurt. Now, Richie didn't throw a dumbbell at me. He thought about it, though. He said, "Don't go public with that." I said, you know, the world isn't equal, and the world isn't fair, because not every man is handsome, and not every woman is beautiful. And the bottom line is, what do most men look for? We look for beautiful women. And culturally, that could be defined different way. I'm going to put you on the spot, Rich, in a good way. You're either going to have more friends or less after this one. What's your type? When you think of beauty, what's Richard Yancey's type?
I tell you, it's the walk. I like in legs. Legs are my thing. Like legs, calves, like the whole thing with the walk and the legs. The way a woman walks.
Like carries herself.
Yeah. Her walk.
Oh, just her walk.
Her walk. Yeah. I like I like a woman that's strong. That that appears to be strong, right? That has a lot of confidence, and I don't lock myself in like some people over here, brother. Like I don't lock myself in on hair color or
like me.
This and that. Yeah, okay. I wasn't gonna say.
I do lock myself in.
But it's the walk for me, Jeff. You know, I'm a legs man.
I love it.
I mean?
You know, every woman watching this podcast right now has looked at their calves in the mirror. And you know what we're going to do? Besides all the other merch we're going to have a stamp that women can put on their calves that say Richard Yancey approved.
Yeah, there you go. That's my thing. What's your thing, though?
For me, my X factor, because I have some flexibility in the look, although if you talk to my kids, they'll tell you it's always the same look, and it probably is. But I'm really, and this is the first time I've ever gone public with it. I've never shared it with a team. I've never shared it with any of my undergrad or graduate students. I'd have never shared it publicly in any public forum. This was the first time. Not because I'm not proud of it. A, because it's only me. And B, I don't want somebody who doesn't have that particular look to be like, oh, great, he thinks I'm not attractive. That's not it. For me, it's next level attractiveness. It's what I really look for. It's what I find myself attracted to. And for me, it's hair without fail. I like healthy looking hair. Not Brillo pad hair, not SOS hair, not hair that looks like this carpet. I'm not talking about the color. I'm just talking about I like silky and smooth. Man, look, I'm getting emotional, Rich, just thinking about it. And my big X factor is I am absolutely attracted to women with blonde hair. And it's a particular
So why do you think that is? Did your mom have blonde hair or what?
No. When I was younger, I would have probably been more of a brunette man, and then I just realized, and I'm going to get yelled at for saying this, blondes are just more attractive.
You probably will be. So
Rich made me say that. Does you send your cards and letters to him? Yeah, it's
So-
blonde. It's blonde hair for me, Rich.
Yeah.
It's healthy blonde hair. I'm not talking about that ultra brassy kind,
Right, right,
but there's a whole
what
continuum.
about the
of-
face, Jeff?
Oh, absolutely. See, for me, a face is non-negotiable. Non-negotiable. But for me, the X factor, like you said, legs, the walk. See, that's a very specific X factor. I love your X factor, Rich. And for me, my X factor is hair. Healthy, vibrant blonde hair. And my legs get real weak. And
Really?
for a
Okay,
confident
all right.
man, I might stutter a few times.
Now, was your ex-wife, was she blonde?
Yes, thanks to Di.
Thanks to die.
She
What
did-
about eye color, Jeff?
You know what? I find greenish bluish is really cool, but I don't have a particular preference. I will say all three of my long-term relationships, they have been blonde without fail and would fit a norm of societies, and they'd fall under the umbrella of beautiful and wholesome looking and real looking. You know what I mean? You
Right,
wouldn't look
right,
at them and go,
Right.
they're trying too hard. But how about you, Rich? You got like a hair color that just does it for you? Wide open.
My ex-wife was blonde. My ex-girlfriend was strawberry blonde.
See, I'm cool with that too, actually.
But I had up till I dated a Persian girl who had black hair with olive skin, and I thought that was.
I bet she had silky smooth hair.
Most Iranians they have that silky.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I should have been a hairstylist.
I like exotic. I gotta tell you something, Jeff. I don't have a preference. If I'm attracted to her, I'm attracted to her. But then again, do you like? How about your food? Like, do you like different types of food?
Not really.
See, I like Japanese food. I like Spanish food. I
Yeah.
like Cuban food.
Yeah.
I like Italian food.
I just like
I mean,
blonde women.
Yeah, see, I don't know.
That's
I
me,
can't put
Rich.
in a I know that's good. So listen, we
That's
just
my
gotta,
thing.
if you ever become single, I just got to worry about the blonde women with you. I'm telling
That's it.
you. Yeah, I'm telling anyone. But what keeps me, I gotta be able to vibe with them.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like I have to be able to vibe with them. The personality is what's gonna keep me.
Absolutely.
Jeff, I'm telling you, finding a pretty girl for me, it's easy. That's the easy part.
I would agree. I would agree.
Finding
Rich.
a strong woman that has your back no matter what, right? And that doesn't come with that big bag of problems,
Yeah.
right? That's the hard part.
Rich, can I highlight that? Because I agree with you, and I hope everyone watching this really recognize what Rich and I are saying, that finding an attractive woman, or even for women, an attractive guy, isn't hard to do. But finding high quality, you know what else I find really hard to do? And I've already stuck my foot in my mouth 3 times today, so what's one more?
What's one more?
Finding a woman, this has been my experience,
Right.
so I'll just say anecdotal. Finding a woman that doesn't have a crazy family.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And I don't mean crazy like in crazy. I mean like just a family that you feel good about, that you love to see, right? And I've been really fortunate there when I think about my long-term relationships to have really good in-laws and feel like the in-laws felt really good about me. But I will say I talk to a lot of people who feel like, I don't know about this. And to be honest with you, it's hard to date somebody with wackadoodle families. It really is. It's hard to separate it out. Because you know what happens for me? Because I have done it. I don't want to be around them.
Right.
Right.
Again, Jeff, that goes to this. Their generation is different from our generation.
Mm-hmm.
So their parents seen and their perception are different than our perception. So what they see, even in their own kids, they're probably the ones that are judgmental to their own kids are going to be definitely judgmental about you.
Yeah.
But
And
I get what you said, but I don't. You know what, Jeff, I don't even care, to be honest with you. I really don't. I walk the walk and I walk it. You know what I mean? I'm telling you, if you don't like it, then you just don't like it. If you like it, But in terms of women, so women with the baggage, right? They
Too much
they
baggage
want
sometimes.
to be with, and this is my pet peeve. Look, you have baggage, you got baggage, right? Just take care of your baggage. But what you don't do is say, listen, I want a good guy. Like, why you want to ruin a good guy's life?
Yeah.
I never understood that.
Right.
So that's the problem. Is like when I went on when I got on my previous dates, and I sit there and they just take that bag out of their pocket and they put it on my lap, I look at them and say, "Are you serious?"
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I
They
mean?
just
Because
dump it out
when
on
they're
the
like,
table.
"All right, where's your baggage?" I listen. Everything behind me is taken care of,
Mhm.
so I'm ready for a relationship. But
That's
you're not.
right.
You're not ready for a relationship.
Absolutely.
You got to. You got a lot of things you got to take care of.
Absolutely.
You know.
A rule I have, it's non-negotiable, because will I date brunette? Yeah. But one thing I won't do,
Mhm.
and I put it out there up front, I do anger, I do sadness, I do joy, I do pain, I do ups and downs, I'll do issues, but I don't do crazy.
Yeah.
I don't do crazy, Rich. I'm not doing the crazy, I don't do nonsense. I don't do it. I won't do it.
Right.
Have I dated people who, and again, I'm not talking about mental health crazy. I'm just talking about, I like how you say, they just dump their stuff. I don't do crazy.
Right.
I don't do
Right.
crazy in-laws. I don't do crazy parents. I don't do crazy kids. I don't do crazy exes. And I sure as hell am not dating somebody who doesn't have their shit together. You know how you mentioned earlier that confidence is really sexy?
Mhm.
That's sexy.
No, it is. That's what I mean.
See, that's
very
sexy.
sexy. But like I said, nowadays we promote. We're basically promoting people that have problems.
Absolutely.
The more problems, the better. The more money they're gonna get.
Yeah, great
from
song.
the
More
state.
money, more problems, right?
I know. So yeah. So I look at the walk is definite for me. I need someone that's going to have a strong walk.
It is
And I have
beautiful
to
when
be-
somebody
and I have to
walks
be-
in a
yeah.
room and owns it, isn't it?
Right. And have to be attracted to them.
Yeah.
And because when I walk into a room,
Mhm.
okay, don't get me, I tend to own that room.
You got to.
So I want equal, for the the girl that I'm with. So now if she's like, I'm shy and this and that and the other, it's a downer for me.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Because at that point, I dated a girl that every time I walk, she pushed me out the way, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, don't push me out the way. You know what I mean? If I walk into someone, I say, excuse me, or you know what I mean? Like two guys are walking, we look at each other.
Mhm.
We glide next to each other, right?
That's
Sometimes
right.
I want to do that, to fill whatever they have to fill. But yeah, so yeah, I want the woman that I'm with to want to look sexy, to want to look pretty,
Yes.
to own the room,
Yes.
and to handle her business. And I don't mind a little bit of package, like a little bit of baggage, right?
Yeah.
But I don't want
Not
it
a
has to be like a
suitcase.
little, yeah, it has to be like a travel-on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it
Something-
can't be a check-in. I'm checking in 60 pounds of baggage.
because look, life is already tough. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And if you can't handle your problem, I can't. I want to handle your problems too.
Here's another X factor for me, and we're speaking not just on behalf of ourselves, because we just have the strength to tell the truth. We're speaking on behalf of millions of dudes right now in this country, and for me, another X factor, I hate the bait and switch.
What's that? What are you
So, you go on a few dates,
Mhm.
maybe even several dates, and she looks amazing. And then you get into a committed relationship, and you know what I'm talking about, right? All of a sudden, she's wearing Ugg slippers to bed and a Tom Brady hoodie.
I know you don't like that.
Yeah, I'm not dating any woman who wears a hoodie to bed when it's 80 degrees out. You know what I'm
So
saying?
you want her to be sexy 24 hours a day, huh?
No, it doesn't have to be 24/7. What I don't want, what I won't tolerate is anybody who settles, anybody who takes my affection and my chemical attraction to them for granted. So, do they have to look good 24/7? Of course not. Hell, I don't look good 24/7. There's 24 straight days I might not look good. But you know what I do think about? Looking good. And I don't take my partner attraction from me for granted.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head on that one because see you want your partner to want to look attractive. You want
Absolutely.
your partner to want to feel strong and confident. And I'll
Absolutely.
tell you why. Because now you're ready to go against the world.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're ready to to accomplish anything. Set goals. But when you just you get up and you just you don't care.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't care about the way you look, then you don't care about a lot of other things.
That's right.
So when you and if I stop caring, then we're gonna be two bums just not caring, and it's going.
It's over.
places.
It's over.
But you have one life, Jeff,
Mhm.
right? So you might as well just enjoy to the max, I would think, right?
Oh, absolutely. As I've talked about a lot of times, one of my clinical specialties is marriage and couples counseling. And one of the biggest things I hear over and over again is both or one of the partners feels that they've been taken for granted. I always call out couples and go, A, how come you're not doing date night? And when you do date night, why are you wearing a baggy hoodie? I don't care if it's the guy or the girl. Why are you wearing a baggy hoodie? How come you don't dress up anymore? How come you don't look sharp anymore? I've said to the guys even sometimes, I said, I know you didn't dress like you're dressed on the first few dates with your wife. And you know what that sends the message? It sends the message that you cared. It sends the message that you saw her as having higher value. And now you're a big schlep. You look 9 months pregnant. You never get off the couch, right? You don't care about your appearance. And yet you wonder why your wife's not having sex with you. You know what? Look in the mirror, buddy.
Right. Well, more importantly, if you don't care about yourself, why should she care about you?
100%.
My daughter said something to me the other day, which is amazing, all right? Because we have these funny conversations. And she said, if you can't, someone else will.
Oh, absolutely.
So, you know, and
Absolutely.
that's where it's going, Jeff. I'm telling you, you know, the thing is that we have to feed. We're a team, so we have to feed the energy off each other.
That's right.
You know what I mean? You know, look, when you look good, hon, you look amazing. She's gonna turn around, listen, you look amazing. We go out, we look amazing. And 9 times out of 10, I'm telling, look, I don't know about you, Jeff. I don't speak for. I get a lot of compliments when I go out. And then I know some people making fun of me. It's far away, whatever. But I get a lot of compliments.
Let them do it.
But the point is that I want us to get the compliment.
That's
you know
right.
Because when I step outside, you never know. I might get hit by something. I don't want, I don't want to have dirty underwear on. Go to the hospital, have like dirty underwear. I always wear black underwear, by the way. You never know. Right? So,
You know the viewers would have been shocked if it was anywhere.
oh yeah, listen, black is good for anything. Look, I could be soaking wet. You wouldn't even know.
That's true.
So
That's very true.
yeah, and if I get mustard on my shirt, all I need is a black marker. Boom, it's gone.
It's done.
But what I'm saying to you is that you want to feed the energy off each other.
That's right.
And when you feel good and you look good,
That's right.
positive. Now you're ready to receive positive things in the universe.
And you know what happens after that? If you look good, you take the time, and we're not talking about Victoria's Secret model or Tom Brady. I'm always jealous. We're just talking about trying to be the best you could be. You look good, you feel good. You actually come home and have amazing sex with your partner. Now remember, this is the couple shrink talking. When people take each other for granted, they don't find their partners attractive anymore. They don't even find themselves attractive anymore.
I don't do that part.
Right? They just don't.
I don't do
Who wants to have sex with somebody who says, "You think I look good?" You know what? You either know you look good, because if you don't know you look good, guess what? You don't look good. People who know, absolutely,
Well,
they
you
know.
have to put the work in. So for me, look, a lot of guys might jump on me on this, but instead of watching football, I'd rather go to the diesel store and watch my girl trying some jeans.
Yep.
Like to me, that's fun.
It's a lot more fun.
You know what I mean? But
Football game never led to great sex.
Well, the thing about football, that's what's so funny about guys. Guys are like, "Oh, Tom Brady," and then their wife is like, "Oh, Tom Brady."
That's right.
And if Tom Brady came to your house,
Yeah.
he wouldn't even look at you. Would just take your wife out, and you're just sitting there like, "Oh, my Tom Brady took my wife out." He wouldn't even care about you. But anyway, so you got to pay attention to your woman. But so what do I want in a woman? I want a woman that is okay. So another part of it is she has to be a ride or die, Jeff. She has to be a ride or die. She can't be selfish. I can't stand a selfish person. Meaning this, right? If she goes and get a piece of cake, I want her to say, "Do you want a piece of cake?" And even after I say no, when she sits down, I want her to cut a piece of cake. I'm like, "Oh, do you want to taste this?" I don't want a selfish person. I want her to always think about me. Because I'll always think about her. Like I will put her before me because that's the way it's supposed to be.
That's right.
That's ride or die, right? A selfish girl, I don't want any part of it.
No.
And I dated some selfish girls, man. Let me tell you something. I'm told they just look out for themselves. And
Yeah,
then
it's
they wonder
no fun.
why. Yeah,
It's no fun.
You can't,
It's no fun.
even as friends.
Right.
Like even as my, as buddies. Like I want my, I can't even have any selfish friends. I hate them.
No, it's not fun.
I shouldn't say, hey, I dislike them.
Yeah,
You know?
a lot, a lot. Rich, how about a sense of humor? And I find that incredibly awesome. Although, you know what I've learned about myself?
What's that?
I won't date a woman funnier than me. There's only going to be one person who's real funny in this relationship, and it's got to be me.
Well, unless she has to be funny though.
She does.
If she's corny, I can't deal with that.
Yeah.
See, so I want someone who's cool, brother. I don't want anyone that's goofy.
Yeah, I hear you.
And I want a cool, calm, collect that can deal with problems. You know what I mean? That can see problems before they happen. And if I drop the ball, I want them to be able to catch it before falls on the ground. I don't want to drop the ball
Mm-hmm.
and it hits the ground. They're like, oh, you dropped the ball. Like, no, you should have caught that.
You know what, too? Again, I'm being real honest. And I don't even care what people think because, I got to live my life, right, Rich? A couple months ago, I played poker with a group of guys. I've been playing with them for a long time. And I forgot my cooler. I always bring my protein stuff with me. I forgot it. So my girlfriend was nice enough to swing by. She was going to be out. She swung by. So she meets 9 other dudes that she had never met before. And I was so proud. Oh, I was real proud when I brought her into the room and I introduced her and I was like, yeah, that's me. This is a big dog. And you know what I'm going to say? And this is going to be so gutsy. I don't think every one of my poker buddies would be really thrilled to bring in the missus.
Wow.
Mm-mm. Some might be, but a lot wouldn't be. And you know what? For me, that's key. I like having a relationship with someone that I can be proud of
Right.
with their character, who they are, and I'm going to be honest with how they look.
Right, so I'm going to have to question you on this one, Jeff.
Uh-oh, here it comes.
So, I'm going to say a couple of things and I'm going to question you. So, there's a difference, Jeff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, where you're divorced. So you can, so your second time around, you can kind of pick and choose what you want.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you being a divorce is not necessarily a good thing or bad thing. It's just life.
Just life.
Right? And now it's your second time around. You can, third time around, okay.
Third time, Rich.
Third around, it's
expensive, man.
It's
It's
all right.
expensive.
Your third time around, right?
Mm-hmm.
You still could pick and choose what you want. Now, if you're married and your marriage go well, right? If you were married, because obviously when you were married, your significant other is probably around your age, right? Roughly.
Are you referring to the fact that my current fiance is 18 years younger?
Well, I'm just saying that average it out, right? Around your age, right?
She was.
So that means that she would be around your age right now if you guys were still married.
Mm-hmm.
And women at your age is not going to look like someone 18 years younger.
So true.
All right.
So true, Rich.
So being still married, like I said, is not a good thing or a bad thing. It's just life.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But if you still love her,
Mm-hmm.
you should still. You would still want her to come in the room. She might not command the room like the one that you're with right now, but
You want
if
the
she's
truth?
your wife, yeah, the truth.
I don't believe, you've heard the phrase unconditional love. For couples, I don't believe in it. I don't believe it exists. I believe it does with our kids, right? They could be serial killers and we'll still love them. We'll scream at them in prison and go, what the hell were you thinking, right? But we never stop loving them. Our love for our partners is conditional. It's conditioned on a lot of things, right? They start cheating on us or something like that. When they're going to be, oh, I love you so much, you do whatever you want, right? It's conditional love. And quite frankly, it is normal and healthy and probably sad that over time, visually, particularly for guys, we don't find our long-term partners even remotely near as attractive as we once did, even though we've grown with them and might even be the same age, because we've certainly aged too, right? But it is normal and healthy to look across the room and go, Now, some people go, is good enough. Honestly, for me, and I think lots of other men, is never good enough for me. I don't settle. I absolutely don't settle.
Now, that's where I think. So, I've been single for a while. I was married, but I've been single for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I was in a relationship for 16 years, but.
That's a long time,
Yeah.
Rich.
Well, with a girl, I did that because of my daughter. I can't be with different types, different women. But I kind of envy people that are married, Jeff. I have to admit, and I'll tell you why. Because when we do become on our deathbed, right, you're gonna want someone that's gonna love you.
Absolutely.
All right, and let me tell you something. If you have a wife for 40 years, 50 years, she's gonna love you.
I hope.
Yeah, well, I'm telling you, I've seen married couples, right? That the guy he loves his wife no matter what. Matter of fact, Big Al at the gym. I'm telling you, his wife. I'm telling you, he loves his wife. He talks about he finds other girls at the gym attractive, but he would never leave his wife. I'm telling you, he loves his wife, and I met her, and she's amazing. Like
Is she attractive?
well, you know, not in my eyes, but
Right.
she's like 70 years old.
Do you think
Right.
Big Al looks at her, and I'm not saying doesn't adore her, doesn't
Let
love
me
her,
tell you
doesn't
something.
respect her, but does he look at her and go,
I'm gonna tell you
"Oh
something.
my goodness, she's so
Well, see, that's
attractive, and
and
I'm
so
thrilled to bring her in the
so
room"?
that's what I'm trying to tell you. That the attractiveness is at our age. He's in his 70s as well,
Hmm.
and I think attractiveness is something that you're not going to be attractive at some point. I'm not going to be attractive at some point.
Hmm.
Your 18-year different girlfriend's not going to be attractive at some point.
I know.
So
I'll be long gone, Rich.
attractive is just. I'm talking about that's great when you're healthy, brother.
That's right.
But if you become sick, you're gonna want someone that's gonna love you.
No, I agree with you. Here's what I'm highlighting, 'cause I agree with you, and actually, I'm a huge fan of marriage. I'm a huge fan of long-term relationships.
It's sad that they don't work out.
Yeah, and here's why. This is why I'm really focusing on looks, because the average marriage lasts about 5 years now, and what we understand in the world of mental health and psychology and relationships is real strong physical attraction lasts about 5 years. And it is normal over time that the love turns into no longer a strong sexual attraction, but more like a deep friendship and a deep mutual understanding and a deep respect. The person who will be at your deathbed and honor and cherish and everything that you've talked about. But what also happens is we recognize we're no longer attracted to them. And what I've kind of realized in my relationships, I've been blessed in my long-term relationships where I've been really attracted to my long-term partners. 23 years of marriage, 8 years engaged to another woman, and now with my current fiance, 5 years. And not once did I ever say to myself, wow, they're not beautiful. Not once did I ever feel funny about having them on my arm when I entered a room. As a matter of fact, I always entered a room with great pride. What I will tell you is that what changes for most men is we do look at the way a woman ages differently, genetically anyways, than how women look at us the way we age. We get to age very differently than women, Rich.
Well,
There's no question about it.
That's true.
Right?
So I would like to think, Jeff. Right.
Actually, can I say this real quick,
yeah.
Rich? You know why you and I have only been in relationships with attractive women? You know why? There's only one reason. You know why you and I have only dated very beautiful women?
Why is that?
Because we can.
I know, but listen, but
That's the only reason.
I think it's a curse, brother.
That's the only reason.
I know, but I think honest to God, I think it's a curse.
If we look like the chair, you think we're dating beautiful? You think beautiful women would be attracted to us?
Well, the thing is, we're lucky because a lot of guys they're not even trying to date at all. So I'm telling you,
Yeah.
it's a lot out there. But what I found that so obviously the way I dress, a lot of the superficial women kind of are attracted to me, like the one with the big breasts and this and that and the other, and I think a lot of guys would be over the moon to even date those kind of girls, right?
That's right.
But they got more problems than anything. Like they got even bigger problems, So I don't know, Jeff. I think I'm talking about, I would love to find like a librarian that just that has a natural beauty,
Yes.
right?
I'm
That,
most attracted to the natural beauty.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm attracted to the natural beauty. I don't want, if we go down this road, Jeff, right? I think because of what's going on, if we don't change, we're gonna be alone, Jeff.
You know what I've noticed too, Rich? And I agree with you about being alone. The X factor that I've noticed in men who are dating or in long-term relationships with beautiful women, the men have one thing in common. They're really confident. Because you have to be a confident man to date a beautiful woman, because she is going to garner all kinds of attention.
Right.
Right? And for me, I love the fact that when I'm out publicly with AB, that's going to come back and bite me, with Abby. And we call it date night ready. It's spectacular. And I watch the amount of men who look at her.
Right.
And as a confident man, internally I'm like, yay me.
Right.
Do you see what I mean? I'm never like, ooh. Like she's on a business trip in Dallas right now. Am I worried? Absolutely not. Is she going to garner at this professional conference and thing that she's doing? Is she going to garner male attention? Absolutely. And you know what I think to myself? Yay me. Yay
No,
me.
that's good. That's good.
Because the opposite would really bum me out. I'm not going to lie to you, Rich.
Well, that's so.
Right.
So my question to you, because see, the thing is that nowadays you have social media, like you have you have Facebook, you have Instagram, things like that. A lot of these women, this is another pet peeve for me that I don't like this, but a lot of women they try to get their attention from social media, right? So the problem with beautiful women, Jeff, is that a lot of beautiful women are insecure.
Yeah,
And an
ironically,
insecure
right?
woman, okay, no matter what you say, if they're insecure, they're gonna need attention from
Everybody.
men and women,
That's right.
okay?
That's right.
And let's talk about cheating for a second, okay?
Mhm.
So, in reality,
Mhm.
you don't own anyone. You don't even own your own body. Okay?
Yeah.
If you owned your own body, you wouldn't give yourself cancer. You wouldn't age. You wouldn't do anything if you own your own.
That's true. I would have stopped at like 42.
Right,
I
exactly.
peaked then, Rich.
Right. So we don't own anyone. Just like she doesn't own, any beautiful girl or not attractive. They don't own themselves as well. So what does that mean, Jeff? That means this. They could love you, Jeff. Right? A woman could absolutely love you, but if she needs attention, okay, if she has an insecurity, and some guy gives her attention, all right, she's not gonna not cheat on you because she loves you so much. She because it's about her. It's
That's
about
right.
her. It's about like whatever, it's about living her life. No one's gonna stop. Well, I guess what I'm saying is no human being, man or woman, is gonna stop in this day and age. Stop living their life for another individual. It's not gonna happen.
I hope not.
Nowadays people want their cake and eat it too. Okay, so it's giving off two different things. Like it's funny because I was watching a talk show. I don't know what it was. I think it was Tara or something like that. And one of the women was like, and she's she's like an older singer, right? And she was saying that, she has three men. You know what I mean, she has one that she's really intellectual with. She has one that she goes out with, and she has another one that does this, and she calls it casual something.
Yeah.
She called it. But now women even having these different, they pride themselves on having, even the songs we talked about before. I have a man, but I want you, right? So, unless someone is 100% confident, right, or unless that person could trust themselves, then there's always going to be a chance that someone's going to cheat, Jeff.
And that's why, for me, I think just inherently, Rich, although I always found it a turnoff, I won't. If I'm ever single again, I hope not. I'd never date an insecure person. I'm not talking about people that everybody. I have my own vulnerabilities and insecurities, but I'm not an insecure person. I would never date an insecure person who needs to just have their cup filled and filled and filled. Because I think you're right statistically too, Rich, and intuitively, that's the kind of person that's more apt to cheat. Although, I think it would be interesting for you and I to do a podcast on why men cheat, because most men don't cheat because they're insecure. Number one reason men cheat? Because we can.
Right.
That's the number one reason.
Well, who are we cheating on them with?
That's right.
Other women.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying.
Cheating's
So
easy.
that's what I'm saying. So this day and age, right? So long time ago, Jeff. That's what I'm saying. Like when your parents were growing up, right? People stayed in their neighborhood. They built their neighborhood. It was built. They had years and years in their neighborhood. So that means like the kids, the neighbors knew the kids, knew that they watched them grow up, and when a kid did something that was cheated on her husband, she was ashamed.
Yeah, everybody knew.
And when people found out, they looked upon that in a bad way. That was always negative. Now, since we travel so much, now we have social media. If a man cheats, it's not a big deal. If a woman cheats, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal anymore. And if you don't have marriages, right, and you have a lot of people that are single, then what happens is the more partners that you're with, the harder it is to be with just one person.
Real hard.
Does that make any sense?
Yeah, it's real hard.
So it's not. So once a woman or a man is with a certain amount of partners, right? At that point, getting married is already you just shot it down.
Right.
The chances of you surviving with just one partner for the rest of your life is
To follow up on what you're saying about it getting harder, I guess I can't guarantee the future. I mean, if I could, I'd be playing the lottery, right?
Right.
But here's what I know about me for sure, and I share this with Abby all the time. We do have these deep talks. That's another reason I love her, because I gotta be able to connect with someone intellectually and emotionally,
Right.
to find them sexy too, for the long term. And I'm convinced that she is my last long term relationship. So I'm gonna look right in there. If I'm ever single, which I hope I'm not, I'm telling you right now, I will go out with you. I will never meet your parents. And if you are at my house, you're leaving by 2:30 in the morning. And if I'm at your place, I'm leaving at 1:30. I'm telling you, I'm not meeting your kids. I'm not meeting your dad. I'm not meeting your mom. I'm not meeting your sister Connie because she's whacked. I'm not meeting your ex-husband. I'm not meeting your ex-kids. I will go to dinner with you. I'll go on vacation with you. If you look a certain way and you got blonde hair, oh, I'll hang with you. But at this point in my life, Rich, as much as I don't want to be alone when I die or grow old alone, I've actually gained a lot of peace in my own aloneness, if that makes sense.
No, it does.
And this is why I feel so secure in this current relationship, because I know that the grass isn't going to be greener for me over here. Because there's no more green grass for me as far as long term. And I know, for example, in my marriage, and this is not a knock on my ex-wife in any way, shape, or form. This is about me, not about her. I was young enough to know that the grass was going to be greener. I was young enough to know that this was not going to be my last long-term relationship. You see what I mean? And I'm old enough to know now, Rich, this is the evolution of just getting older, that Abby's my last long-term relationship. And if I'm ever single, she will not be the last girl that I'm with. And people can define what with is.
Mm-hmm.
But I won't be in a long-term relationship.
No,
You
I
won't
get that.
hear me on a podcast referring to someone as my girlfriend or fiance. How about you, Rich? What's your thoughts on it?
See, that's why we do Bros and Nos, because we have two different views on that. I have respect your view, because I understand it. It makes a lot of sense, okay? But for me, I like the whole experience. So if I meet someone, I want to know their kid. If I meet someone, I want to know their parents. Because you have to understand, I always lived pretty much alone. Like I'm a self-taught person. You know what I mean, like I didn't have a big brother. I didn't have, I didn't have a father. And I taught myself. So I learned through other people's, whatever their mistakes are or what they're doing right. So I like to know. But most importantly, I don't want to be alone, Jeff. I'm talking about, listen, am I strong enough to be alone? Yes, but why? I want to share every moment, whether it's good or bad or whatever it may be. And if I'm learning, that's great. I always want to learn. So, I want to be involved. The only sad thing about it is, once you're involved in someone else's kid or once you're involved in someone else's parents, if it doesn't work, now you just lost 3 people or 4 people instead of just one. That's the only solace I can think about that.
And that's where I'm done. I'm done doing that.
No, and I hear you on that. But because of the thing about the irony about social media and women and relationships, okay, and even men, is that the more connected we are, the more disconnected we are. You know what I mean? So, the ride or die part is hard to get right now.
Yeah, it is.
Everyone is so selfish. You know what I mean? And if I meet someone who's selfish,
it's over, isn't it?
Yeah, that's you know what I mean?
Done. It's done.
It's either we or like I'm out. You know what I mean? And when I say we, I mean this. Like you talked about. So if I met someone, and she was more of a personality person than the way she looks, all right, I'll carry us both through the room. You know what I mean? Like I want her to feel as pretty as she could possibly feel. I would never make her feel uncomfortable or make her feel like she's not as pretty as anyone else. Because I'm talking about, because no matter how pretty a girl is, there's going to be another girl that's prettier than her. And
Always.
vice versa. Even if you're a guy, there's going to be a guy that's better looking. It hasn't happened yet. But anyway, so my point is, you got to believe that, right? So my point is, when I hold her hand, I hold her hand. I hold her hand in high regard, no matter who's in the room.
That's right.
And you'll notice other women will try to good-looking women will try to catch your eye and try to make you look over to try to diminish what you have. And you can't. You got to be smart, guys. You don't fall for that trap.
That's right.
But no, but I totally understand what you're
Yeah,
saying.
I'm at such a place of peace with it, and I think it makes me a better partner because I recognize that if this doesn't work for me, when I was younger, I always knew there was going to be more options.
Yeah.
I'm saying now I'm not choosing the options, and I'll wrap it with this. My children have loved all three women that I've been in long-term relationships with. Their mom, my ex-fiance, my current fiance. I'm not going to ask them to love a fourth. In
Right.
fairness to them, do you know what I mean? They'd be like, "Really, Dad?
Right.
How long is this going to last? Another
Well,
8 years?"
but the probability of even you and I, even me,
Yeah,
even though we know what we know,
yeah,
the probability of lasting a lifetime
slim,
is slim.
so slim.
Because things are changing,
Hmm.
you're changing.
Oh
Next
yeah,
10 years, so listen, if we do Rose and Nose the next 10 years, we're going to look different.
we'll
Next
be in a
10 years.
wheelchair. I'll be in a
Rose will
wheelchair.
be
You'll
like-
be in a walker, and we'll be bros who know who can barely stand. Hey, on that powerful note, that visual of Richie in a walker and me in a wheelchair with a cane. You know what I hope, Rich and I hope you'll take away from today's podcast is Rich and I won't settle. Confident men don't settle. We know what we want. We know what we look for physically. We know what we look for intellectually. We know what we look for emotionally. We want you healthy. We want you confident. We want you to come into a room and own it. We don't want you. We're not looking for women that need us to make them feel good. You already feel good. We're just the icing on the cake. Hey, I'm Dr. Jeff LaCure. This has been the Mike Tyson of podcast, Richard Yancey. We are together, the bros who knows, irrefutably authentic. We're going to be off next week. We'll see you again in a couple of weeks. Enjoy.